Hi guys, I had a couple of messages about my picture I put up a minute ago. It's actually meant to be a video and I decided, maybe I shouldn't. And then I just thought, Anyway, long and short of it, Gwynedd Council took me to court back in September for non-payment of council tax. Whilst in court, they actually sent me an email, someone else did in the office, stating I didn't owe any council tax. I have been arguing for multiple years now, literally years, with the valuation office and local council saying, why are you charging me band D for a little cottage in the Rue that doesn't even have its own land or driveway or anything? It's all been separated. This is clearly not band A, also D, sorry. And they're also charging 150% council tax, which I thought went to court and they failed, but they're using taxpayers' money to fight the judgment, which is just ironic. So anyway, here we are, September, Edward Jones, for public interest. He's the taxation manager. He sends me a court summons. I turn up to court. I'm told that I'm not owed any money or owing any money. I'm told to sit in the corner. Whilst I'm sitting in the corner, I'm being told that I'm disruptive. He's trying to use his power and get one over on me or do anything. I mean, frankly, I don't care. I just sat on my phone working. And then during the court, there's a couple of ladies sat next to me talking, and I said, look, from the sounds of your problem, I think you need to do a check, challenge and appeal, and the council should put it on hold until they sort out what the value should be on your property. And by the way, if you're doing refurbishments and other stuff, you should get also time off, blah, 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 blah. Went into it all. They did it. And then he came out of his office and he had a go at me, saying, how do I find people when these people are now doing check, challenge, appeal? Step away, leave them alone, data protection, blah, blah, blah. Ironically, data protection and GDPR, at the start of the court, there's 30 odd people sat in the waiting room in court, and he's talking to them all outside the court, like the meeting room that we have this meeting. And he's talking to everyone saying, what's your problems? Why are you not paying? And everyone's thinking he's there to help. He's the guy that's literally getting background information on everyone, not administering anything or telling anyone who he is. And everyone's thinking he's there to help. I confront him and say, look, buddy, this is not right, my man. I said, you can't go out and tell everyone that you need a chat with them and then take out all their information, ask them why they're not paying. I'm sitting in the waiting room in court next to this little meeting area, listening to people crying, saying that they've lost their jobs, saying that their wife has taken all their cash and they have no credit cards and blah, blah, blah. I should not be overhearing this data. The two women next to me were also doing the same. Now, I do a check, challenge and appeal for the two women and a guy. Whilst I'm in court, bear in mind, they walk into this little meeting room, the same meeting room I've been in for family court. So they walk into just a little office. Might as well be holding this. The council summon you to court to make it look scary. So they summons you, like court, you're not paying council tax. All you do is sit in a waiting room. They're jumped up fools. So they're just trying to scare people into paying. Anyway, check, challenge, appeal goes through. He comes off, tells me off for trying to help people. I inform him that working for the council, he should probably be helping them prior to me helping them. They get let off. The two women receive emails from him stating, here's my email address, here's my telephone number. If you have any problems, let me know. I am told, however, the same copy and paste check, challenge and appeal I do for me and them and this other guy. Me and this other guy are told, however, that we have to keep paying our council tax until the valuation office do their job. We will go into the valuation office another day. However, one department says it's a business and they can't touch commercial. Another department in the valuation office says it's not a business and it's residential. They both they can't look at the banding D because obviously that's residential. The residential people are telling me that I need to go back to commercial. Commercial are telling me that even though I've hit the targets, I'm missing something and some data, but they won't tell me what I'm actually missing. So we can't get this sorted. Long and short of it, 800 quid as good as, give or take a few quid. Every single month I pay for a 2-bedroom property. Now, I don't know how much everyone else pays for a 2-bedroom property in the middle of Gwynedd, but I very much doubt it's 800 quid. I also pay council tax for the bungalow, and I'm also in the middle of a redevelopment here for the barn. I'm told by the valuation office, once this barn is done, bearing in mind it's a 1-bedroom, it will also be put up on the system as banding D until I can either prove it's being done for commercial or someone else comes to value it. But they can't value it because it's commercial. Anyway, long and short, I'm in court for no reason. Edward Jones is the taxation manager. He sits me there. One of the girls I've just helped comes out about 10:30, coming up to 11 o'clock. I didn't look at the proper time. She says, I just saw your name on a post-it note on his computer with a date for next Monday. I guess that's when you have to come back to court. He doesn't call me into this little meeting room at all because obviously I've already told him I don't owe him any money. He waits and waits and waits. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he then comes along and gives me this post-it note. The same post-it note that's been on his computer that both ladies by now have told me has my name and details on it. Question, everyone. Why would a council official have a post-it note with all my details on and then ask me to sit in the waiting room of court, wasting my time, even though he knows and there's an email evidence from his own office to show that I don't owe the council any money? Are we in a power struggle? Edward, come on, man, chill out. So, this goes around and round and round. The two women receive emails, get his personal details. They're told that their accounts are now frozen, and if they have any action emails, to contact him directly. Bear in mind, I'm the one that did their check, challenge and appeal. He says to me and another guy, however, from the same day, that he doesn't have the power to hold people's accounts, and everything's done on a case-by-case basis, and it depends on what you say on a check, challenge and appeal. Bear in mind, 4 cases. I do all of the check, challenge and appeals. I know what was said on the cases, and they were all virtually copy and paste. So the only deciding factor that makes it different is that he's selecting females over males to help and send personal details to. Make of that as you wish. Anyway, I called him a sexual deviant, and then I got arrested. So I'm in North Wales Police Station, asked to drive for 5 hours yesterday. So I'm driving for 5 hours from Suffolk to North Wales to answer questions there. I ask North Wales, can I please have full disclosure of why I'm here? Sergeant Jones, I've already got him for misfeasance on a few occasions now, so we're going to do him anyway. But Sergeant Jones tells the PC officer who's interviewing me that I'm not allowed to see the evidence. Yes, everyone, that is breaking the law. So I quote the PACE reference number, PACE 4 11.1a, and say, well, before and prior to an interview being recorded, you should disclose all information to suspects. They don't do that. Anyway, we crack on with the interview. I make sure it's quite clear that I know what the law is and that they've already breached it once. Please don't do it again. And they start reading this guy's statement. Bearing in mind, he's reporting me for malicious communications and doing everything else. And basically, he's lied to police officers. Now, this is Gwynedd Council, taxation manager, who's giving out his personal data to females to help them, telling the females if they have any issues, he will help them get off. Blocking men and saying under legislation you have to pay, you have to speak to the valuation office. Now, there's a 2-tier system here. Now, it's a very small sample of 2 males and 2 men, but it does show a distinct possibility that this man is trying to utilise his position as a taxation manager to do it. I write a letter to Liz, Savile Roberts, never have a response. You're not going to. I then wrote another complaint letter to local council at Gwynedd. Apparently it was investigated and nothing to see here, sir. I don't even know if they responded. They said that they're going to look at it and it's dragged on for months. I just can't even be bothered. When I complained about a copper the other day for... He searched my house and took away some laptops and other bits and pieces on more allegations about stuff. And he didn't even do it under Section 9, where he's meant to get a High Court judge. So he just literally took away my laptops, my bits, my stuff. It didn't leave a receipt or anything. This is where Sergeant Jones comes in. But anyway, long and short of it, I'm reading the statement and it says here that apparently I threatened to do it. And if he didn't do what I wanted with the tax, which obviously, like, whatever. All I'm asking for is the correct banding. You either charge the correct amount or you don't charge at all. Like, I work private sector. If I sent someone an invoice for something that I knew was incorrect, I'd be in jail. Like, how the council get away with it, I just don't understand. They've written to me saying that they know the banding is incorrect and to apply for it to be a business. So I applied for it to be a business and it's wrong. Anyway, he's telling me that I'm there under a liability order for non-payment of local taxes. Now, that's potentially true until the point I told him that I've already paid it, and I evidenced it 2 weeks prior. He says again, Wednesday the 10th of September, Dive was in court for not paying council tax. Well, now that's defamation because I was in court, but I'd already paid council tax. He should have just let me go once he saw the evidence, and / 2 weeks prior, he should have actually cancelled it out. So in all honesty, Edward Jones, you're the one that should be in court for wasting time. Anyway, he says that I'm disruptive on this police statement. And he has also said that I was instructed to leave by the security officers. Now, we go back to September, and I've asked the police officer to formally investigate this and pull off the CCTV off the point of, I was under a summons to turn up at court. I wasn't instructed to leave. I sat there. I literally made a bed out of the out of the benches. I was bored. I was so bored. I sat there, ate my Haribo, drank my Lucasade, and once I had gone, like, life was over for me. I just literally sat, crossed my arms, laid down on the bench, and I laid there for about 2.5, 3 hours over lunch whilst I was waiting for them to tell me if I should be there, shouldn't be there, shouldn't be. Long and short of it, I classify that as entrapment. I mean, the police officer yesterday virtually agreed with me when I said I was told and I had a summons to turn up. I sat there until the point I was told that here's the next court date. Now, as I said earlier, the court date was already written down on a post-it note, and I was told when I was meant to be coming back, and I received a post-it note picture just gone 10:30 to 11 o'clock-ish from one of the girls I'd already helped. However, the council officials held me in the courtroom or waiting room until, as I say, like, I think it's 2:30, 3 o'clock. Now, why would they be abusing their power? And then when I put in a formal complaint, why would the complaint not be upheld? And then when it's not upheld, why would then Edward Jones write to women saying that if you need help, here's my contact number? And then when I say to him, I've got all of this on evidence and I'm going to publish it, then write a fake police report, which I can't say is fake because it's still going through, alleged police report of issues, of stuff that is factually incorrect. Guys, Gwynedd Council is literally breaking the law to try and win money and acting like a private sector business and some sort of corporation and not actually working for the people. If I build this building I'm currently in now, the valuation office is going to put it up as Band D again. Now, how many people out there can afford 800 quid a month on 3-4 properties whilst no one does their job properly in the public sector? And then when you say you're going to post it and make it open to everyone to see the evidence of their issues, they get you arrested. This is a public sector. This is the council. But ironically, when they get arrested, the police are breaking the law themselves. And this is not the first time. I've been keeping quiet and I've just been trying to keep my head down and hoping that all these stupid allegations and absolute people can just sort their lives out. But they don't seem to be able to. If somebody could help me with my council tax, I'd be much appreciative. Now, how does a 2-bedroom little lodge cottage thing get charged at £800 per month? It's either a business or it's a house. And if it's a house, why is planning telling me I can't live there for over 28 days? And if it's a house, why doesn't it get rebanded as the correct band? Why is it when I write to the MP, she just says contact the council? And why is it when you contact the council, you get people like a taxation manager who's literally breaking the law, filling in fake police reports? He signed this report that's bang in front of me. This is a real thing. I was struggling to hold back my emotions of laughter when they were reading the allegations of being disrupted and the fact that I got escorted off by security officers. Why would you lie, buddy? Is it because you sent me a court summons and you can't stand up? Like, you sent me a summons. I turned up. I sat there. I helped people because I had nothing else to do. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I passed on some knowledge to other people. We did a check, challenge and appeal together. This is information that you should be giving to them because you're paid by our taxes. You shouldn't be sending out illegal summons. You shouldn't be flirting with women. Now, Edward Jones, taxation manager, Gwynedd Council, please, and I urge you, not threaten you, do your job properly, buddy. Because I seem to be paying I'd probably pay more than your wage every month just on council tax, let alone anything else. I'm just plodding along in the background and I'm asking you to do your job several times. I've asked the valuation office to do their job. I've asked for help. I've asked for appeals. I've done different bits. Now, when your check, challenge and appeals all come in and they say you should have an answer in 28 days and that was in September and there's no answer, why don't you look at spending some time and actually do your job properly once? Why doesn't the MP want to get involved in the corruption that local council offices are smashing? Why is there no help for people building listed buildings? And why can't I smash this building up, get it all looking absolutely amazing, and do what I need to do to get this ready to go so that I can actually move forward in my life and carry on building the Rugok Inn? Now, the Rugok Inn is sat there, but imagine you now, if I built every single property here, probably paying you £5,500, £6,000 a month or more on incorrect council tax. Just do your job, buddy. There's the facts, mate. You didn't want it published. Well, I hope now you see that it is published. And if you want, I'll put up all the emails, and I'll put up the emails from the girls you sent to as well, because I've got copies of them. They got forwarded to me. And I've got your private details sat there as far as I know. And if they're not your private ones, they're your direct dials. I can't remember exactly what they said. Direct dials for work and emails and other bits and pieces. Why are you helping women and not men? Why are you using your position to try and groom people? Gwynedd Council, I put in a complaint and I asked you to look after this properly. Liz Saville-Roberts, I wrote to you and asked you to look at this. North Wales Police, I wrote to you and asked you to look at this. And guess who's the one that gets arrested? Boom. Welcome to the Rugok Inn.